Welcome to the MDMOTO Group channel. I'm Dr. Brian Dominguez, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the YouTube sensation Oliver Anthony, or his name is Chris Lunsford, and his new song, Richmond, North of Richmond, which has just gone viral. So this is an important issue because it's a symptom of a larger societal phenomenon that's going on right now. So let's check it out. Now, when the popular is subverted, it becomes protest. It becomes revolution. So I've watched a ton of reaction videos about this song. It was how I first found it, and I was impressed that the reaction videos were actually a thing. I hadn't seen them before. Some were real reactions, and some were not very authentic. But what was really good was the song. When played through without stopping, of course, which is not something I'm going to do. And I realized that there is a load of data in those videos when observing the different reactions and comments from folks. The impact is confirmed by the virtual nature of the viral nature of the video. So what's interesting about all these reactions is that there's a lot of them. There's really quite a lot. So they're meaningful in some way. What I want to do is start by giving credit to this Chris Lunsford guy for producing something quite remarkable. What amazed me was his ability to fit so much into a very short story. The story that he unfolds through his music is compelling, it's resonating, and it's direct. And if you haven't heard of him, I'm going to play some of his video and discuss it. He's also been at the center of a lot of attention with millions of views and seven-figure offers from music labels over the past several days after his video was released. And these are offers that, of course, now we know he's rejected, which also makes him very interesting. And so also, maybe not surprisingly, his song has been weaponized by political parties. There are some haters, there are some lovers, and he has very smartly made written statements about who he is and where he comes from, in addition to saying that he is politically dead center, because government on either side works for the people, right? This is quite a smart thing, because it takes a lot out of the speculation and conspiracy that hovers around something that, a viral event like this. So when I did a Boolean Google search of Richmond, North of Richmond, and reaction, under the video tab, I got 5.65 million hits. That's a lot of reactions. So what I want to do today is break down some of the components of Chris's song, what I think the discourse is in it, the socio-political effects of the music that can impact social movements and collectivism, and some thoughts on how music goes viral. And we're going to loosely reflect on some different theoretical frames, such as social movement theory, discourse analysis, and identity theory. But first, let's take a look at his video, the lyrics, and what we're seeing in the production. We'll break it down into groups so that we can talk about it. Now, visually, you're going to see a setting which is quite simple. And first impressions are made based on people's lived experiences, biases, and interpretations. So, for example, you're going to notice Chris's hair and beard. You'll see a backwoods setting with a deer stand for hunting and dogs lying around. Chris is holding a banjo type guitar. I'm not a musician, so I don't know. The audio is excellent, yet the video is likely from a good smartphone. But this only adds to the authenticity of the production. And you might think he's a stereotypical right-wing conservative, but you'd be wrong. So let's have a listen to this.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
So in this first stanza, Chris begins by lamenting the fact that he's working long hours for low pay. And somehow the purpose of his life is stolen by a fruitless endeavor that he doesn't control. Now, choice, control, autonomy are all constructs of life satisfaction. So we can infer low satisfaction with life or even some mild depression. He may be feeling alienated or exploited by a power structure outside of his influence that asks more than it gives, indicated by an inequality of pay, but also establishing an identity category of working class Americans. This is going to resonate with people who identify within this category. And this is very effective because identity categories have in-groups and out-groups. And a very large population of Americans will feel as though this song represents them.
So I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away.
In this second stanza, there's some hope which is lost as life is wasted away, and he must be dragged back to his home, presumably to continue the ritual wasting of life, where he self-medicates with alcohol to try to deal with the depressed thinking that's sort of enveloped him. And people recognize nonverbal cues and respond to the difficulty of others empathetically. This is sometimes noted as an evolutionary function of some social animals like humans that engage mirroring neurons. So you can observe this in the reaction videos that often respond with statements about feeling the authenticity in the singer's voice, having to do with the tone of his voice, the strain in his face as he sings, and the analogous stories of drowning troubles away can engage the limbic system, which sends neurochemicals to the hypothalamus and prefrontal cortex to stimulate empathy and compassion.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is.
So in the third set, Chris goes on to say that it's a damn shame how the world has ended up. He's appealed to disappointment and lack of control or affect that he feels, another identity category that many people might resonate with. And then he again brings those people into the fold, either intuitively or empirically, by including the audience in his identity group, building on the sense of empathy and structuring the identity of the in-group. Once again, a lack of control as waking up does not alleviate the problem, but only reinforces the injustice he's experiencing around him.
Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do.
this fourth part, Chris then creates another identity of an old soul, symbolically invoking some nostalgia of a better time and sense of being out of place with contemporary events. This leads to a socio-political issue of politicians who are part of the outgroup, or the Richmond, North of Richmond, in the capital of DC. Now, he speaks directly to the control, noting that a competition exists for control, and the power structure that disregards and underestimates the identity group being addressed, which is the working class Americans. This can have an impact of speeding the cohesion of discontent. At the same time, the demanding lyrics exposes the audience's feelings by knowing that you know, further drawing them into agreement on their shared values and empowering or prompting the underestimated intelligence of the audience. So very smart. I'm sure he didn't plan it that way, but it's really quite brilliant.
'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men know the rich men.
In this next stanza, the songwriter believes that these politicians and possibly their cronies, these crony elites, are responsible for the mismanagement of the economy, likely the inflationary period that we're all experiencing, and as a double insult, taxing people to no end. This does a couple of things. First, it's a critique of the power structure, its incompetence, and abuse of trust in the idealism of meritocracy. A hostility towards the outgroup of elite politicians is forming as a discontent in his message.
I wish politicians would look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere.
Now, this part, Chris has developed a working class identity and brought others into the in-group and makes a direct attack on the enemy in the story, which is the politicians. Chris uses a play on words couched with a rather cynical but well-placed double entendre, meaning that he speaks to the extensive attention the political elite give to the seedy phenomenon of the Epstein Island, where children as minors were being abused. And he plays on the word minor to draw attention to the coal miners who are trying to contribute to the country's economy and way of life, who have nothing to do with the abuse of those children.
Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare.
So here we have what could be called a protest song or anthem in general. As Denisov described in his 1972 paper, Chris has solicited outside support. He has articulated shared values. He's promoted cohesion among the group, recruited followers as you and me, and suggested a solution of attention and highlighted discontent. So now in this part, Chris uses a very easy to imagine contrast with the meritocracy of the working class neoliberal American by creating a new potential for hostility towards another outgroup, namely people on welfare who are obese, presumably without merit, as this would not apply to the working class obese folks who are a part of the in-group. So he's contrasted this group with what he would consider poor people who lack basic foods, let alone enough to become obese. This juxtaposition of hunger versus gluttony is an artifact of values, beliefs, and attitudes which articulates the cultural identity of the in-group.
Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge round.
As I noted earlier regarding elements of a protest song, Chris offers a solution to the discontent, but also reveals the cultural belief around meritocracy and the injustice of the rich men who take too many taxes and give it to the outgroup. In this case, obese welfare recipients that are not working for their living. The obese group was an easy cultural target, as it's an epidemic that fuels a growing weight loss industry in excess of $200 billion annually. And we can find easy examples if you Google, obese Americans or anything like this. There's lots of memes on this.
Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down.
Here, the hopelessness and frustration of the youth, another identity group that he acknowledges, is likely addressed due to the current increases of self-harm among the young. This again is a point of discontent and empathy that the singer uses to mobilize a hostility towards the outgroup of political structure, calling it "this damn country" for kicking them down. Okay, so the rest is a repeat. Let's listen to the rest of it and then we'll conclude.
Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men north of Richmond. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Okay, so wow, I love this song for many reasons, not least that it arrived at a very interesting time and delivered a very interesting message. It was also great to just listen to. Now, there is a surprising amount of literature on music and its impact on social cohesion, protests, empathy development, and other constructs that affect you and me around how we identify with ourselves and others. The discourse analysis would be socio-political, but also cultural, and the ideas of meritocracy and neoliberalism of the working class seem pretty prevalent. So in terms of social movements, there are many examples of Western phenomena and music, and this song covers the key elements of a protest song or anthem that can build cohesion and collective action among and in group. So one of the keys of success in such an endeavor is to produce live performances, as it really helps to solidify such cohesion, which I'm sure he's doing. Yet going viral on the internet is no small feat either. And Chris's song met some of the key elements suggested within the literature, such as evoking strong emotions of any kind, as long as they're strong. These are going to potentially set off a viral act. Telling a story which is compelling and meaningful to the listener is also a super important element of video going viral, and making the current socio-political and socio-cultural conditions relevant within the story so that a lot of people will resonate with it. Okay, so I hope you like this review. I hope that it was different enough than the other, 5.5 million reactions that are out there right now. And please leave a comment or feedback, because I'd love to hear what you think about this song and where you think it might lead from a cultural perspective. And when you're ready, we'll see you next time.